President Joe Biden recently came in for a lot of criticism following his withdrawal from Afghanistan. Aside from the US soldiers killed and injured from the withdrawal, and the US and other foreign nationals abandoned in Kabul, a great deal of ire was generated by the US abandonment of vast quantities of weapons, ammunition, vehicles, and aircraft. I won't go through the entire list, which includes 73 aircraft and helicopters. Suffice it to say, the cost of the US taxpayer is in the region of $7 billion. However, you may be surprised to learn that a direct link exists between the end of US operations in Afghanistan and the new war in Ukraine. In the complex world of international diplomacy and arms deals, this story is a little complex, but it basically goes like this. In the early 2010s, as part of its ongoing efforts to create viable homegrown Afghan armed forces, the US decided to purchase some helicopters for the Afghan National Army. The US Congress expected that the contract would have gone to a US manufacturer, but the Department of Defense instead purchased MiL Mi-17 HIP helicopters. Why? Because the old Soviet-era helicopter was cheap compared with modern American types, was rugged and well tested in high altitudes and desert environments, and Afghan pilots were familiar with the type as the USSR had previously equipped the forces before the Taliban took over. The Mi-17 is an updated version of the Soviet-era Mi-8 introduced in 1975. The Mi-17 version entered service in 1981 and has proved to be very popular around the world. They are used as troop transports, helicopter gunships, supply helicopters, and for many other duties. And so the US Defense Department purchased this fleet of Mi-17s from a Russian state-owned arms exporter. Fast forward to April 2022, and President Biden announced an $800 million security package to dramatically expand U.S. military aid to Ukraine, including artillery systems, artillery rounds, and armored personnel carriers. He added, quote, "I have also approved the transfer of additional helicopters," end quote. During the US withdrawal from Afghanistan, many Afghan Mi-17s fled to Pakistan and elsewhere. However, the 16 transferred to Ukraine were at the time of the fall of Kabul undergoing maintenance outside of Afghanistan. They still, however, remained the property of the deposed Afghan government. In December 2021, the Pentagon thought otherwise and informed Congress that as these helicopters had been bought using US taxpayers' money, they were de facto US property. Therefore, the Department of Defense could do as they liked with them. It has emerged that 5 of the 16 Mi-17s were already in Ukraine when the Russian invasion commenced on the 24th of February 2022. The US had signed a maintenance agreement with Ukraine to maintain the Afghan Mi-17s. The Pentagon immediately declared that the 5 US-owned Mi-17s in Ukraine were, quote, excess defense articles, end quote, and handed them to the Ukrainians free of charge. The remaining 11 Mi-17s were not in Pakistan or Ukraine, but were in fact in storage at Davis-Monthan Air Force Base, Tucson, Arizona. Delivering the 11 helicopters to Ukraine has perhaps already happened, though no news outlets have noted the transfer. Presumably, the United States Air Force will fly the helicopters on transport planes to Germany or Poland and then ship them forward to Ukraine via rail, along with other weapons and vehicles being sent by many nations. There has, however, been some speculation that the White House may have U-turned regarding the delivery of helicopters to Ukraine, though as recently as the 10th of May it was reported by CNN that one of the 11 Mi-17s was, according to a senior US defense official, sent into Ukraine that day. Thanks for watching, please subscribe and share, and also visit my audiobook channel, War Stories with Mark Felton. You can also help to support both of my channels at PayPal and Patreon, details in the description box below.